That is actually a false. That's a narrative going around Chargers Twitter that Khalil Mack was double teamed last year, and it's not true. I watched the tape. It's not true. It's not true. Khalil Mack was not double teamed after Joey Bosa went down. It's not true. Khalil Mack slowed down. He declined. He's not the same player. He's just not the same player. Go back and if any of you guys have NFL Plus, right? That's where you can watch all of the tape. Watch all of the tape. Go watch the tape of Khalil Mack against the Colts, right? Because the Colts offensive line, that was the worst offensive line that the Chargers faced all season long. The Colts, Nick Foles, go watch that tape. They single covered Khalil Mack all game long, and he had one sack that game. He had one sack. That was one of his 5 sacks over the past 16 games. Go watch that game. He had one sack that game, and you can't even really credit it to Nick. To the offensive line. Nick Foles held onto the ball too long, and he should have threw it away. He should have, there was a chance to get rid of it, but it was pretty much a coverage sack. So Khalil Mack just didn't outright beat the tackle, right? He just was relentless and kept going, and he got the sack. But they covered him with one tackle all game long. And the Colts have pretty bad tackles. Left and right tackles were not good all season long. Matt Ryan, what's the other kid? Sam Ellinger. The Colts played 3 different quarterbacks last year for a reason. They were getting hit. Their quarterbacks were getting hit because their tackles were pretty much revolving doors. They did a damn good job against Khalil Mack. So if you have the worst offensive line in the league, right? The worst, very worst offensive line in the league. And I think Pro Football Focus said that they were the worst offensive line in the league. If they're able to single block Khalil Mack, no, he's not the same. He's just not the same, right? Oakland Raiders, Chicago Bears, Khalil Mack would have ate that up. He would have had 4 sacks that game. He only had 1. He's not the same. Khalil Mack did not get double teamed. This is a narrative that I've seen. And I seen this pretty much, since the season ended. So I went back and I watched tape, of several games. And to me, the one that stands out the most is the Colts game, because that was the worst offensive line. So I said, let me see what the worst offensive line in the league did against Khalil Mack. And they single covered him all game. They blocked him, the tackles, right and left tackle. They did a decent job on him. And that's, to me, that's a guy that's declining. That's a guy that is declining from going all pro. You got to remember, right? He was all pro as a linebacker and a defensive end when he first came into the league with the Raiders, right? Because he was so good at ball. He was everywhere, right? From being an all pro at 2 positions to being, pretty much almost shut down by the worst offensive line in the league. That's a decline. People have to understand this. I know people love big names, but look at it objectively. He declined. He's declined physically. He's not the same. And I don't even think he's going to have 8 sacks next year, to be honest with you, because what I seen on tape, that's not good. It's just not great stuff. His moves are not as powerful as they used to be. His first step is not what it used to be. Guys have a good time. They have a pretty okay time blocking him, right? His bend isn't where it used to be as well too. He's standing up straight a lot. He used to have that bend, right? That Von Miller thing where he can get low, kind of get underneath the tackles, do that little dip thing. He doesn't really do that anymore. He starts standing straight up. And Khalil Mack rushing you straight up like that, right? Most of the time, if you're playing a decent tackle, a team with a decent offensive line, they're going to be able to handle that. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's declined. People have to understand this. Understand that this man has declined. Watch it on tape. Don't listen to anything. Though he was not being double teamed. He was not being double teamed. This is false. This is a false narrative. He is just declining physically. It is what it is. It is, we just have to accept it. He's declining physically. This is not, it's just not, it's not fact. It's just not fact. Just not fact. So yeah, because he's declining, that's why I don't have high hopes of him going into 2023. I just don't, because I watched it on tape and I've seen, and I went back to look at injury reports. He wasn't injured. Now, Khalil Mack, he took every single Wednesday off during the season, right? He took every Wednesday off. He didn't practice, right? He was just getting treatment on his body. But it is what it is. You guys got to watch the tape. You guys got to watch the tape. He's not the same player that he used to be. He's just not. He's not the same player.